Welcome back to G Fun Facts Online. Today, we are going to dig deep, literally. We are looking at a crisis that is happening right beneath our feet, a silent epidemic that affects billions of people, yet remains largely invisible. We are talking about the soil, and specifically, how the health of the dirt on the ground dictates the health of the human population in ways we are only just beginning to understand. This is the story of the era of empty calories and how soil science is finally ending it. Let's start with a paradox. We live in a world that produces more food than ever before in human history. If you walk into a supermarket in almost any major city, you see aisles stacked high with produce, grains, and packaged goods. We have conquered the immediate threat of famine for a large portion of the global population. Yet, there is a silent epidemic sweeping across continents. It is not the hunger of empty bellies that we see in tragic newsreels. It is a more insidious form of malnutrition that strikes people who look, for all intents and purposes, well-fed. This is called hidden hunger. To understand this, we have to go back a few decades to the Green Revolution. In the mid-20th century, the global objective was singular: yield. We needed to feed a growing population, so we bred crops to grow fast, to grow large, and to resist pests. We filled the world's granaries with rice, wheat, and maize. We saved millions from starvation. But in this race for calories, we left the nutrients behind. We bred crops that were essentially biological race cars, designed for speed and size, but the track they were running on, the soil, couldn't keep up. There is a phenomenon known as the yield dilution effect. Think of it like this. If you have a bowl of soup with a certain amount of vitamins in it, and you suddenly dilute it with a gallon of water, you have more soup, but every spoonful provides less nutrition. That is exactly what we did to our crops. As modern varieties grew larger and faster, they accumulated carbohydrates, starch and sugar, at a rate that outpaced their ability to absorb minerals from the soil. The result is a diluted plant. It is big on energy, but low on the essential building blocks of life. A bowl of rice today contains significantly fewer nutrients than a bowl of rice did 50 years ago. The plant simply cannot manufacture minerals like zinc or iron out of thin air. If it's not in the soil, or if the plant grows too fast to absorb it, it's not in the food, and eventually it's not in you. This brings us to the concept of hidden hunger. It affects an estimated 2 billion people globally. That is more than 1 in 4 of us. You might feel full after a meal, but your body is starving at a cellular level. While humans need dozens of nutrients, there are 4 specific deficiencies that cause the most devastation, often called the Big Four. First, there is zinc. Zinc is the architect of your immune system. It is essential for cell division. Without it, children suffer from stunting. They literally stop growing properly. Their immune systems become weak, leaving them vulnerable to respiratory infections. Millions of preventable deaths every year are linked simply to a lack of zinc in the diet. Second is iron. Iron is the backbone of hemoglobin, the molecule that carries oxygen in your blood. Iron deficiency anemia is a massive global issue. It causes extreme fatigue, complications in childbirth, and it reduces the work capacity of adults. It is an economic drain as much as a health crisis. Third is vitamin A, which is crucial for vision and immunity. A lack of vitamin A is the leading cause of preventable childhood blindness. And finally, iodine. Iodine is vital for thyroid function and brain development. Iodine deficiency is the primary cause of preventable mental impairment worldwide. So we have established the problem. We have high-yielding crops that are essentially empty vessels of starch. But the solution to this problem is fascinating because it shifts the focus from the genetics of the seed to the chemistry and biology of the soil. This is where soil science becomes the unsung hero of public health. It brings us to a revolutionary approach called agronomic biofortification. Now, you might have heard of biofortification in the context of GMOs, genetically modifying a plant to produce more vitamins, like golden rice. But agronomic biofortification is different. It doesn't require altering the genome of the plant. Instead, it involves deliberately increasing the nutritional content of crops through the application of fertilizers, soil amendments, and microbial inoculants. It is about treating the soil as the stomach of the plant. In fact, the connection between the human gut and the plant root is remarkably similar. Just as we chew food to make nutrients available for our bodies, soil microbes chew on mineral rocks and organic matter. Bacteria and fungi release organic acids that dissolve locked-up minerals like zinc and iron, turning them into a liquid form that plant roots can drink. If that transfer chain is broken, if the soil is dead or deficient, the plant is deficient, and the human is deficient. Human health is fundamentally rooted in soil health. Let's look at some real-world success stories, because this isn't just theoretical. Let's talk about zinc again. Zinc deficiency is rampant in South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, regions where cereals like wheat are the main staple. The soil there is often zinc deficient, or the zinc is chemically locked up and unavailable to the plant. Scientists developed a method using zinc-enriched fertilizers, but they found a specific technique that worked even better: foliar application. This means spraying a zinc solution directly onto the leaves of the plant during the grain-filling stage. It is a brilliant workaround. It bypasses the complex chemistry of the soil, where zinc often gets stuck. The leaves absorb the zinc and translocate it directly into the grain. In widespread trials in Pakistan and India, this method increased the zinc content of wheat grain by up to 50 to 60%. This high-zinc wheat is now a critical tool in fighting childhood stunting in those regions. It is a medical intervention delivered through a chapati or a loaf of bread. Perhaps the greatest proof of concept, however, comes from Finland. This is the gold standard story of agronomic biofortification. Back in the 1980s, the Finnish government discovered their population had dangerously low selenium levels. Finnish soil is naturally poor in selenium. This deficiency was linked to high rates of heart disease across the country. The government decided to intervene, not by handing out pills, but by changing the farming system. In 1984, they mandated that all multi-nutrient fertilizers used in agriculture must contain selenium. It was a national chemistry experiment. The result? Within a few years, the selenium content in Finnish foods skyrocketed. The average human intake of selenium tripled, and the heart disease rates associated with that deficiency plummeted. They fixed a public health crisis by changing the fertilizer recipe. It showed the world that you can effectively medicate a population through the soil. We see similar efforts with iodine. We all know about iodized salt. It's one of the great public health successes. But not everyone eats iodized salt, and high sodium intake is a concern. So scientists in China and other regions have successfully biofortified vegetable crops with iodine using soil fertilizers. By applying iodine-rich fertilizers, they raised iodine levels in communities that didn't have access to or didn't use iodized salt. It's about creating a safety net within the food supply itself. But chemical fertilizers are only one piece of the puzzle. The true frontier of soil science today is biological biofortification. This is where things get really interesting. We are learning to harness the living microbiome of the soil. You see, in a teaspoon of healthy soil, there are more microorganisms than there are people on Earth. We are learning to recruit these microbes as nutrient hunters. Let's talk about mycorrhizal fungi. Over 90% of land plants form a symbiotic relationship with these fungi. The fungi attach to the plant roots and extend out into the soil, essentially acting as a microscopic internet or a secondary root system that increases the plant's reach by hundreds of times. The deal is simple. The plant provides the fungi with sugar from photosynthesis, and in exchange, the fungi produce specialized enzymes that release phosphorus and zinc bound to soil particles, delivering these concentrated minerals back to the plant. It is an ancient trade agreement. The problem is that modern tillage and heavy chemical use often kill these fungal networks, breaking the trade route. This forces the farmer to use more synthetic fertilizer to make up for the loss of this natural delivery system. Regenerative agriculture practices, like no-till farming and cover cropping, are now focused on restoring these fungal networks to naturally boost the nutrient density of crops. Then there are the bacteria. We call them plant growth-promoting rhizobacteria. These are specific bacteria that are naturally capable of secreting organic acids, like gluconic acid. These acids dissolve minerals zinc and iron in the soil that the plant otherwise couldn't touch. Scientists are now creating biofertilizers by coating seeds with these specific bacteria. When the seed germinates, the bacteria multiply, creating a nutrient halo around the roots. It ensures that as the plant grows, it has a dedicated team of microscopic miners working 24/7 to feed it minerals. Looking further ahead, we are entering the era of high-tech precision. The future of enriched crops is microscopic in a different way: nano-fertilizers. Traditional fertilizers are surprisingly inefficient. Often, less than 1% of the micronutrients applied to a field are actually used by the plant. The rest is washed away into waterways or gets locked chemically in the soil. Nanofertilizers solve this by encapsulating nutrients like zinc or iron in tiny nanoparticles. These shells protect the nutrients from reacting with the soil until they enter the plant. Because they are so small, they can pass easily through plant cell walls. This increases nutrient use efficiency by tens of times. Combined with smart sensing technology, where farmers can use handheld spectrometers to scan a leaf and instantly see its nutrient status, we are moving toward precision nutrition. Farmers can apply exactly the right amount of nutrient spray at the critical moment when the grain is forming, maximizing the health impact. Now, why does this matter to you or to the global economy? Investing in enriched soil is one of the most cost-effective public health interventions available. The Copenhagen Consensus, a group of economists who analyze the best ways to spend aid money, has consistently ranked micronutrient interventions as a top investment. For every $1 spent on biofortification, the return on investment is estimated at nearly $17. That return comes in the form of improved health, better productivity, and higher cognitive capacity in the population. There is also a social justice angle here. Women and children are the primary victims of hidden hunger. By enriching the staple crops that subsistence farming families eat daily, we bypass the need for expensive supplements, doctors, or clinics. We place the solution directly in the hands of the mothers who feed their families. If the wheat they grind for flour is naturally rich in zinc and iron, the health of the entire family improves, without them needing to change their behavior or spend extra money they don't have. In conclusion, the old saying, "You are what you eat," is incomplete. It should really be, "You are what your food eats." If our crops feast on barren, dead soil, we will continue to suffer from the paradox of hidden hunger, full stomachs, but starving bodies. But if we revitalize our soils through smart chemistry, biological restoration, and innovative agronomic biofortification, we can turn our agricultural fields into the world's largest medicine cabinet. The solution to global malnutrition is not just in the clinic, it is in the dirt. By bridging the gap between soil science and human nutrition, we are not just growing food, we are growing a healthier, smarter, and more resilient generation. This is the new era of agriculture, where we count nutrients, not just calories. Thanks for listening to Fun Facts Online, where we dig up the truth, one layer of soil at a time.